Stand by for action. Anything can happen in the next half hour.
Hey, a very, very good evening and welcome along to the show tonight with Stu Bear from Air Show World. It's a Tuesday night, it's the 3rd of May, and hope you had a great bank holiday weekend. And of course, I was at Shuttleworth on Sunday, and that is what we're going to be bringing you tonight. So hey, stay with the bear, and of course, I'll be going through the chat room saying hi to everybody, and I'll be doing that very, very soon. But hey, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. And hey, some fabulous footage coming up for you today. Some real old wonderful aircraft, especially towards the end with the Edwardian aircraft. That's coming up, and a lot more. And as I said, especially the fantastic chat room. Hey, of course, you were Stu Bear right here. So let's start the show right now. Enjoy this. This was earlier in the day when we first got there.
Successful London Brighton run entrance. A few years ago it made the run at considerable speed. I have seen a very short mobile phone footage from the passenger seat of the blue de Dietrich doing some tea, which has among its various extra fittings what are known as Rocky Mountain brakes. Of course, cars of that period normally only have brakes on the back wheels, and the ones on that particular T are a lot bigger than the standard fitting. Following that, we have our rather lovely restored Studebaker, followed by 1923 Bean, which has Neil Thomas at the wheel. That's our Wayne Stewart's. The rather large blue sports.
Regarding the Catalina, he is going to display, and he is going to land afterwards. So he's a chance for some close-up photograph of the aircraft. Always nice to see.
Prepared to be dazzled, enthralled and mesmerised at the 2022 Weston Park Air Show International from the 17th to the 19th of June 2022. Set in the gorgeous Shropshire countryside in the grounds of the 15th century stately home covering over 1,000 acres, the Weston Park International Model Air Show, now in its 26th year, has established itself as one of the foremost model shows in the country. The show attracts visitors and pilots from all over the world and continues to grow year on year. The show is the brainchild of Stephen Bishop, a man of worldwide modelling acclaim. Steve and his son Matthew are most well known for their Scale Red Arrows duo, which has taken them all around the world and brings many visitors to Weston Park each year to marvel at the two-time world champion formation display. Weston Park Air Show International really is something different to any other air show. Browse through the various sections on the website to find out about all of the entertainment and displays available on site, ranging from model aircraft to full air show displays, including the fantastic Global Stars, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, plus boats, cars, helicopters, tanks, entertainment, and on Saturday night, a fireworks and laser spectacular. Gates open each day at 8 a.m. with the show starting at 10 a.m. Check out airshowinternational.co.uk website for more information and tickets, or just Google Weston Park Air Show International. And that's certainly a show you do not want to miss. You can see the date, you can see the times, and Mr. Bears told you all about it. Gotta say a big thank you to Bravo 303 YouTube channel and that's Rob for helping us compile that. And hey, Weston Park, be there. But right now, it's back to Shuttleworth from Sunday. And the one great thing about Shuttleworth is, look at these top shots.
Help from Compass. Compass, go ahead, come. I can't get started as you can see at the moment. If I can, I will get started and catch you up, but I won't be ready to go at the front of the trail.
No. Yeah, it's a lot lower than the piston.
Lancaster 99, complete departing southwest.
And there, the Admiral Lancaster 1
thank you very much, sir.
of the Royal Air Force Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Super Cup. And this is one of those points in the programme where we get aircraft into the air for an upcoming slot. So the two racers, the DH-88
Compa taxi hold. Taxi report line at runway 20.
And there is the Compa Swift being aided out towards the standing Cranwell Light Aeroplane, reference to the Cranwell Light Aeroplane Club. This was an organisation to which Nicholas Compa, who founded later the Compa Aeroplane Company, had belonged when he was an engineering instructor at the Royal Air Force College at Cranwell. He previously studied aerodynamics.
So you've got 35, 50, 90. So if you like, this is the GT version.
Likewise,
It's one with a big engine. This is about 190.
and glider release, it's 30 seconds.
Some
Last.
that it was intended, as one report said, to have something of the vim of machines of the single-seater fighter class. And you can well understand it as it zips around the skies here. There were deliveries to buyers in many overseas countries, and some of the feats these tiny aeroplanes undertook between the wars were absolutely remarkable.
25 taxi on runway 20, QFE 1017. Alpha 201017.
Well, you saw this glider being towed just a couple of minutes ago, and just look at this. It's a flying wing, but just look what this can do. Hey, and don't worry, Morris. Coming up very, very soon, got the full display of that comet. And it certainly is beautiful. That's the DH-88 comet. That's coming up in just a few minutes from now. Keep the messages coming into the chat room, and very soon I'll give everybody a good mention. That's what it's all about. It's not a Friday night, it's a Tuesday night. Doing this Shuttleworth special. They called it the premiere show because it was the first air show of the year. It was on Sunday, 1st of May. Hey, just 2 days ago. It certainly is a glider there. I think that was Jordan. Hi, Jordan. Also, hi to Pat Levy, Dicker McVitie, Karen Curran, Becky Davis, Maurice Moon, Julie Rotherham, and Jordan Bulldog 617 Squadron. Marcus Camfield, a very good evening to you. And who else? Hey, we got Fishcake, Stephen Belcher, SHGP Media. He was with us on Sunday. And also Matthew. And Marcus Camfield. Hey, so many great folks. Fantastic to see you in the chat room. And also Phil Tovey is with us. And Kent Jones. And lots
good
more
morning.
folks.
We're at Old Warden on the 1st of May, first air show of 2022. My name's Chris Scott. I'm with Navy Wings, and I had the privilege of flying the Seafire 17 today, which is hiding over there, and watching Air Show World with Stu Bear.
Hey Chris, many thanks for that. An absolute superstar pilot, and you're going to see him right now.
What an utterly fabulous sound. Merlin music and Griffin growl all in one pass.
Go. Hurricane too close.
The Sea Hurricane, very much born of necessity, because early in World War II, the North Atlantic supply convoys to the well-being of Great Britain were at serious risk of German the Fokker-Wulf W200 Condor. But the issue was that no Allied fighters were able to operate. Which was basically a Liberty type. We didn't have enough fleet class carriers, the big aircraft carriers, our Royal Illustrious, those sort of ships, to sail with every convoy. We just simply didn't have enough ships. So they started taking a limited ship.
Running out start level.
For 4 or 5 aircraft, and put the Swordfish maybe for the anti-submarine work. Then when the Royal Navy actually wanted one, production for the RAF was taking priority. As a result, the first navalised Spitfires were standard Spitfire 5Bs that were modified by air service training in Hamble to become Seafire Mark 1Bs with arrestor gear. They were largely used for training. These were considered by pilots to be some of the nicest of all marks of Seafire to fly because they were closest to the original Spitfire. There followed the Seafire 2 have seldom employed rocket-assisted takeoff pack, and they made their combat debut in Operation Torch, the Allied landings in North Africa, towards the end of 1942, and that saw the Seafire's first kill when an 807 squadron aircraft shot down a Dwatin D520 fighter of the German supporting division. The Seafire was never the easiest aeroplane, it must be said, to operate from a pitch and carrier deck in the high seas. Its narrow track undercarriage, amongst other factors, was to blame for that. In fact, during Operation Torch, more Seafires, 21 in total, were lost to deck landing accidents than to enemy action. Now, from what Ben was just saying, you can imagine by the time we get on to the bigger, heavier versions of the Seafire, Griffin powered, this one powered by Griffin 6, kicking out 1,850 horsepower. Now you've got a much bigger, heavier aircraft on the same narrow track undercarriage. And landing that on an aircraft carrier, well, not easy. Interestingly, a great many naval pilots preferred the Sea Hurricane, even though it wasn't quite as fast, it wasn't as well armed. They preferred the Sea Hurricane because it was much easier to handle with its wide track undercarriage on the small deck of a carrier. The late, great Captain Eric Brown had said of the Hurricane, it took to the maritime environment remarkably well. Well, that couldn't have been said exactly of the Spitfire, but the Seafire was nonetheless an exceptionally important and still very capable naval fighting aeroplane. Interestingly, they didn't put folding wings on the Seafire until the Mark III, for the Merlin-engined version. The Sea Hurricane had never had folding wings, which meant they had to be tied down in all weathers on deck. The rugged Hurricane airframe was very good for that because it was able to withstand that sort of battering from the elements. Fuselage, it could carry drop tanks, it could carry rockets, and this particular Mark, 4 20mm Hispano-Suiza cannon. So, a very powerful punch for a small carrier-based fighter. And it was because of this that the Seafire was to go on to be produced right up until the Mark 47. It tries to go hard right. Unfortunately, it flew again in 2006 and made its debut here very soon afterwards. It then carried on flying on the display circuit through until the end of 2015, when it was put into a major overhaul and extend inward rather, so they're closer together. Makes for a much narrower track undercarriage, as you can see here. Lieutenant Commander Chris Gopka at the controls of the Seafire 17, and before him we saw John Hurrell in the Sea Hurricane 1B. And you can see another aircraft there from Navy Wings out on the flight line. They're yellow Harvard in their corporate colours, which we may well see departing back to Yeovilton later on. They, of course, will be returning the very very swordfish to flight in due course. All that's now being undertaken on the civil register following the disbandment of the Royal Navy Stein flight in 2018. Marvellous to see this aircraft, which, as I say, was restored at Old Warden by Kennet Aviation, back here once more. Spartan Executive, as the name suggests, an opulent executive transport. The Boeing Stearman Cadet, meanwhile, one of the most important American primary trainers of the between the wars and into the Second World War period.
And introduced by the one and only Chris Godke, a very, very famous pilot, and there he was piloting that fantastic, wonderful C5. What a beautiful plane that is, and the sound as well. So hey, you had two for the price of one on that one as well. You also had the Sea Hurricane as well. Hey, couldn't be better. But I tell you what is pretty good as well. All the folks watching this evening, you with Stu Bear right here. That's me in the chair, and saying hi to so many fantastic folks in the chat room, like Michaela Marshall. Hello, Michaela. Good to see you. And Shahuro, however you see your name. And he's over there in India. I'm sure, forgive me for getting his name wrong. Karen Kikuran, Mark Webber Webster, and lots of other folks as well watching. And also, it's going out live right now over on Facebook. So, hey, if you're watching on Facebook, a very good evening to you. Saying hi to Pierre and Raphael, and who else? We got Leslie White. In fact, I think Leslie's so good she watches it on Facebook and on YouTube. So Leslie, hey, big thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. If you're watching it, wherever you're watching this, if you can do me the big favor, share the video. I'll love you forever. Hey, just like we love Hannah F. She's in the chat room right now, and also Phil Tovey, and there was somebody else I had to mention. Hey, we've got Ed Cordell, and on Friday night show, hopefully I'll be able to show you some of Ed's brilliant photographs from this very show. And what a show it was. We've got more brilliant stuff coming up in just a moment. In fact, hey, this is going to put a smile on Morris's face. And not just Morris's face, mine, and hopefully a lot of other folks watching this right now, because we've got that beautiful Comet that's coming up together with the Mughal as well. Here we go.
Complex taxi, hold taxi report lined up runway 20.
Two very different designs in response to just one quest. That quest is, of course, for pure speed. 1934, the Robertson Prize race from Mildenhall to England had been announced. From Mildenhall to Melbourne had been announced. So England, Australia. De Havilland had just 9 months to come up with an aircraft to enter the race, and the DH-88 was it. Originally powered by a pair of Gypsy 6Rs, R for racing variants of the engine, producing 224 horsepower each. The aircraft was a successful launch.
Cape record flight by Henshaw in the Mughal took him 4 days, 10 hours and 16 minutes for the round trip, including a 28-hour layover in Cape Town. He set new records for that leg and for the whole trip, and it was a remarkable feat, this tiny aeroplane being flown into remote airstrips at night with just the most rudimentary navigational aids at his disposal.
Indeed so. That is what you've got to really remember about these aircraft, ladies and gentlemen. Now the DH-88 Comet completed 11,300 miles from Milden Hall to Australia. 71 hours. Now, at the time, that was considered remarkable. It was almost like a spaceship arrived. What's particularly interesting is the technology had moved on so fast. What was the aircraft type that came second?
Well, it was, of course, the Douglas DC-2.
Bingo. So an airliner had become, in the time of aircraft development at this time was so rapid that at the time a specialist racing aircraft was actually matched by the first generation of the Douglas airliners. Now, there were no there was very little radios. There was the odd radio beacon, very few airports were fitted with radios. Your map tended to be a set of squiggly lines from somebody thought there might be a river there. And you were down to a stopwatch and a compass. No mobile phone if you came down. If you came down to the middle of nowhere, you were on your own. And that's what's remarkable about these racing achievements, these long-distance flight achievements in the 20s and 30s. Is that you could die by the numbers out there, and they went anyway. That was what was remarkable about it.
3 Comets were built in time for the McRobertson race of 1934. This one, in the hands of Charles W.A. Scott and Tom Campbell Black, named Grosvenor House, was the winner.
No longer powered by the original racing engines, the aircraft is now fitted with a pair of 210 horsepower Gypsy 6s rather than the 224 horsepower Gypsy 6Rs. But it's still got a maximum speed of 255 miles an hour. Now that's incredibly efficient for a small twin propeller aircraft.
What I always consider absolutely remarkable, amongst the many other things that's remarkable about the Comet's participation in and victory in the McRobertson, was the fact that C.W.A. Scott told a BBC reporter before the start that he had never flown a twin-engined aircraft before the Comet. Now, when you consider some of this aircraft's more difficult handling characteristics, that is quite something.
Imagine him getting away with that today.
And they had very little time to familiarise themselves with the aeroplane before the start either, so new for all 3 of the Comets straight off the production line.
There's a lovely description. I'm trying to remember who wrote, I think it was Desmond Penrose, I'm not sure, but he wrote a description of flying the Comet. And he said, you can't see where you're going because George Ellis, yes it was, I do beg your pardon. You can't see where you're going because of the nose. You can't see where you are because of the wind. You can't see where you're going because of the wind. This made it very interesting to navigate.
The other 2 Comets entered both had their problems along the way. Grosvenor House, however, was relatively untroubled. It was with the other 2 DH-88s suffering maladies. KLM Royal Dutch Airlines DC-2, Tim mentioned, named Alpha, came up into 2nd place. A remarkable performance for the day. Quite frankly, there wasn't told Warden in the past. So with the Mugol already into land, here comes the Comet.
That was quite one to witness.
We had Chris Huckstep, I think, in the Mugol. Yes, it was. And our chief engineer, Jean-Michel Munn, once again showing expert handling of the Comet.
Hello, my name is Colin Baker, and you are watching Air Show World with Stu Bear.
And what a perfect time to have a Time Lord on. There we go. Colin Baker, who was, of course, Doctor Who. I think it was number 6 or number 7. Anyway, hey, we are way back in time. Hearing the sound of those fantastic sounds of those aircraft. And right now, hey, we've got another fantastic Spitfire. And I'm sure Morris is going to notice something slightly different about this one. Can you guess what it is yet, Morris? And saying a very fantastic good evening to Max. He says, "Hi, Stu Bear. Have you been to Lakenheath for the French Air Force?" Have I been to Lakenheath? Hey, I was there for the previous 10 days up until Saturday. And yeah, you bet your bottom dollar, I certainly got the French Rafales and the 135. So hey, have a look on Airshow World. You'll see the video right there.
When you get home and find that she's sold the house and moved.
Hey, a very quick mention to a couple of extra people. We've got Miles and more, John Bullen, we've got Jeffrey and Michaela Marshall, Bulldog 617 and Sarah Pass. Hey, keep the messages coming in. It's always fantastic to see you. Keep them coming. You got it! I knew you would know the answer to that, Morris. Of course, yes, to put the wingtips back on.
Less than stellar takeoff performance there. Yeah. It's the tips of the propeller blades going supersonic, because it's a direct drive propeller, quite a short throw propeller. Second half.
Oh, wonderful sound of the Harvards as they take off. And going back to Yeovilton with that particular one. By the way, what we're doing tonight, this is just a short preview of the full version. Now, if you want to see the full version of this is just like quick highlights. If you want to see the full version, it'll be going out on a premiere tomorrow night around about 7 or 8 o'clock, and it's going to be in 4K. So, hey, definitely worth upping the resolution after the premiere tomorrow night.
Miles before the Second World War had begun production of a series of light training aircraft. The Hawk Major, the Hawk Trainer, and there were so many different variants of these. Some of them had an enclosed rear cockpit and an open front cockpit. They were the 2F, the 2C, the 2N. Now, all different kinds of marks of aircraft, but it was the Hawk Trainer 3 that became the Magister. It was the slightly more powerful version of the 2C open cockpit monoplane you see here.
It was faster than the biplane trainers of its time, yet it still had fairly low landing speeds for the benefit of the student. It was fully aerobatic, and it introduced pilots to such things as flaps, which would equip the frontline types they'd move on to. Against that, however, the fact that the aircraft was of all wood construction was a bit of an anachronism.
Gave the Magister maximum speed of 123 knots, and as Ben was saying, it was to serve throughout the Second World War with the Royal Air Force.
Hey, good evening to Cookie Grabber 1973, I think that's what it is. Hey, good to have you in the chat room this evening, and what we're doing, we're looking at some highlights from Sunday's air show at Old Warden. It's the Shuttleworth Collection. And a lot of other aircraft that we're visiting as well. An absolutely brilliant air show, some wonderful flying, and as I said, if you want to see the full version after the premiere tomorrow night, it will be in 4K. And hey, so if you've got those TVs, certainly... Oh, and there'll be no chat from me either. You'll just be able to watch this and hear the fantastic sounds.
And just under 1,300 Magisters were built.
Jeffrey, obviously a big fan of the Blue Angels. Jeffrey, I absolutely love them as well, and quite often, hey, I feature them. In fact, I featured them just a couple of weeks ago, so just search through. And of course, you'll find the Blue Angels, certainly their videos on Airshow World. Just do a search, you'll find them.
Today, often the glider tug pilot here in Shuttleworth. It's always been fascinating to me over the years.
Okay, and we've seen them flying together here once in 2015. There's also a fifth, which is owned by an organisation in the Czech Republic, but which is currently being...
Well, there's something about Spitfires. Elliptical wings, please, thank you.
So as the Spit comes into land, I'm told by our displays coordinator that it might be worth, in the context of the 5 Magisters, watching out for participation lists for upcoming Old Warden displays.
Oh, what a beautiful aircraft.
But now, out to...
Deserves a round of applause, I think, definitely. And talking of wonderful aircraft, look at these two.
That's true, so just keep it as it is then. Yeah. This is backseater of it.
Old Warden, its owner being Arnaldo Leon.
Hey Amanda, that's Amanda Jane Perry. Great to know you're watching this. And hey, thank you so much for the message.
Spirit of St. Louis has flown transatlantic by Charles Lindbergh, set about developing his ST.
Amanda Jane Perry says, hey, I'm watching this with my hubby. Well, I hope you're both enjoying.
And the Ryan family of aircraft for the time, they were cutting edge, and this is much more private stylistic stuff.
By the way, don't you dare go anywhere, because at the end, towards the end of the show, you are going to see some unbelievable aircraft. I'm saving the best till last, and it's certainly worth watching the show right to the end. I promise you. Stay with the bear.
They gradually introduced more powerful engines up to 150 horsepower Monasco, as in this one.
And our good friend over there in India is saying, okay, yeah, whereabouts is this?
First time on the 8th of June 1934.
Well, it's in the United Kingdom,
Living in the first year.
and it's not too far from a place called Huntingdon.
To entry in the United
I think it's in Bedfordshire, actually, and the actual place is called Old Warden, and it's the Shuttleworth Collection Air Show.
1,250.
Hey, very good. Well, it's evening where we are to Rocky. Hi, Rocky. Thanks for joining us.
Level high above us doing aerobatics. Which is unmistakable shape. The North American T6, because this is one of those aircraft that literally for a while the only replacement for it was without doubt T6, one of the most successful training aircraft of all time. Training aeroplane needed to be relatively easy to fly but difficult to fly well. This aircraft is the epitome of that. If you got it too slow on the finals turn, it would bite. It was a complex aircraft. The Royal Air Force, the US forces combined, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, all used this aeroplane. It was to be sold all over the world. In fact, some Harvards were still in service as late as the 1970s.
Not until 1995, with the last retired by the South African Air Force, and it took until 2016 for the final one on the British military register, which was flown as a test and trial support aircraft by Kinetic from Boston down, to be retired and sold into civilian hands. As you say, it was totally irreplaceable. And of course, there's still such demand for T6s, Harvards, etc., as trainers for modern-day warbird pilots. And this one, owned by Kent Aviation, has been used over the year. In April 2020 by Arnaldo Leon, who had moved to London in 2011. He'd long hankered after a Ryan. He found this one for sale in the States, did a deal, had it transported to the UK, and it was first flown.
Wonderful display by the T7 and also the Ryan. What a gorgeous aircraft. Look at that.
Netherlands, East Indies, Air Arms.
The absolute pride of the Shuttleworth Collection, but hey, the real pride of the Shuttleworth Collection, that is still to come. The old Edwardian aircraft, and yes, they did get up to fly. The wind really did drop, and that's coming up for you in around about 5 minutes from now. But before that, wow, I've got a really beautiful, wonderful aircraft for you to see. This was, I think, one of my favourite displays of that particular show. It is the fantastic Avro Anson. Look at this. It is wonderful. Here we go.
It's cool. Where the runway might be going.
Cheetah growls, Armstrong Siddeley Cheetahs, Cheetah 15s in this case, producing 420 horsepower each. this aircraft, interestingly, has one thing in common with the Avro aircraft we saw last. When it left service, the Avro 504 was the longest serving aircraft in RAF history. Its record was beaten by the next Avro aircraft in our display, the one you see here, the Avro Anson.
And it really did herald the future when it entered RAF service in 1936, because it was the first RAF in-service aeroplane to be a monoplane with a retractable undercarriage. The name, incidentally, very strong maritime connections with that. It was named after Admiral of the Fleet George Anson, who was First Lord of the Admiralty during the 7 Years' War in the mid-18th century. Bomber Command took Ansons on as an interim measure when war broke out. No fewer than 26 squadrons across both it and Coastal Command had Ansons on the 3rd of September 1939 when hostilities were declared with Germany.
Aside from its role as transport, communications, and as a U-boat patrol, coastal patrol aircraft with Coastal Command, its number one duty beyond those was as a trainer, and particularly a crew trainer. Now, many Ansons, military Ansons, were fitted with a turret on the rear fuselage to train gunners. They could act as target tugs to train fighter pilots. The Halifax and so on. And indeed, with the glass nose that they were equipped with, they could also be used to train bomb aimers. Navigators sitting in the back, you could basically train a whole aircrew in this one aircraft.
And while this particular Avro 19 airframe has no military history, this version of the design certainly did. Because having been developed, as I said, for civil use, the Avro 19
Triplane, you're fine.
C-19, and from that came various trainer versions, particularly the T-21 navigation trainer, one of which was the last Anson built.
Hey Jeffrey, thanks for joining us this evening, but hey, I don't recommend you go yet. You've got to see what we have coming up. It is something very, very special.
Attack of the war by the RAF just 2 days after hostilities broke out. In May 1940, it found itself conducting coastal patrols with its obsolete...
Also, good to see Virtual Battle of Britain Memorial Flight in the chat room.
Time, of course, they've been equipped with somewhat more effective weapons.
And also giving a good mention this evening to Transport Guy. He says, anyone going to Cosford? Yes, absolutely, you bet your bottom dollar the bear will be there.
And having radioed in for permission, attacked it. 3 of the Admiralty-approved 100-pound anti-submarine bombs. And they broke one electric light bulb. Unfortunately, the submarine concerned was HMS Snapper, who got a bit lost. It wasn't supposed to be, it wasn't where it was supposed to be. But from this very unfortunate incident, they discovered that the anti-submarine weapons that they were equipped with simply weren't up to snuff. And consequently, they were very quickly modified. The £250 and the £400 depth charges coming into service.
How many minutes have you got before I go? The plan was around 6, possible.
Interestingly, in New Zealand, where Bill Reid has a beautiful Mark 1 Anson in airworthy condition, when John Romain took the aircraft restoration company Hispano Bouchon, which of course portrays a Messerschmitt Bf 109 over, for some airshow appearances a few years ago, and an air-to-air sortie was performed to remember that action by 500 Squadron.
As Ben was saying, this aircraft fitted with a hydraulic undercarriage. The original version, you cranked it up and down with a big wheel with a handle on it. You also had to stop.
Sorry, I was talking on the radio. So again, yeah, do you want me to start, or do you want me to hold my start till all these visitors have gone? Paul's requested you hold your start.
Hey, good evening to Arkia. I think that's how you say your name. Thank you so much for subscribing. Amazing videos, loving all the history. Oh, just look at this beautiful plane.
It was types like the Armstrong, Whitworth, Whitley, and
Gorgeous Avro Anson. Look at this head-on shot. Here we go.
in frontline service early in World War II. But some of the type's intended replacements were rather inferior, particularly the much unloved Blackburn Botha. And number 608 Squadron took on Bothas as Anson replacements. They proved so unpopular and unsuccessful that pretty soon they got their Ansons back. It was another of those hard aircraft to replace. John Hurrell is flying the Avro 19 for us today. A delight it was to see again.
A fantastic sound from those cheetahs.
Tony Prince.
That's me. How you doing? This is your royal ruler, Tony Prince, and hi there. Watching the Airshow World with Stu Bear.
Oh yeah, you better believe it. You're with Stu Bear on Airshow World. And coming up for the finale, we've got 3 more aircraft and 3 wonderful old aircraft. Old Edwardian aircraft starting off right now with this wonderful Avro triplane.
Noticed, of course, that the frame of the rear fuselage is totally open. 2 reasons for that. The primary one being weight. Because if you remember, the original engine on this was only 35 horsepower. You had to make the airframe as light as possible.
Got Tango Sierra taxi to the tower to hold, please. Okay, and is it okay to do power checks up this end of the airfield to avoid making noise? Yep, I'm happy with that. Then call me when you're ready to taxi. Okay, Tango Sierra.
And coming up for you in just a couple of minutes, just a bit of a heads up, you're going to see an aircraft that is absolutely incredible. It really is. It's called the English Electric Wren, and just wait for the takeoff. It is amazing. That's coming up in around about 2 or 3 minutes from now. Don't miss it, whatever you do.
So from here we go to the Avro 500 and the Avro 504. And then on to things like the Tutor, where it all started. As I said earlier, one of the difficulties with these aircraft is keeping the engine hours to a minimum.
The Midlands Air Festival returns for a fourth year of excellent family fun as we celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. This spectacular aviation event will once again consist of night fire and flying displays, with the main flying displays on the Friday and Saturday, and the will be kicking off the season. Plus, other highlights include the Bronco display team, the Lancaster, Catalina, Vampire display, and so many other amazing aircraft. Plus, over 100 balloons will grace the skies above Ragley Hall in Warwickshire. It's got to be the Midlands Air Festival from the 2nd to the 4th of June 2022. Hey, and it's just 4 weeks away. Hey, looking forward to that. So many air shows coming up, and I'll certainly be going to quite a lot, especially in June. Certainly, I'll be at the Midlands Air Festival the week after that. It's Cosford. The week after that, it's Duxford. And then, hey, it's not long until the Royal International Air Tattoo. Plus Shuttleworth in between all of that. Wow, we've got a busy time. Looking busy. Hey, keep the messages coming in. Right, I said a couple of minutes ago, look out for this next aircraft. Pay great attention, all right? And look at the screen, okay? Look closely. This is something you don't want to miss. It's like a huge, great bathtub. Have a look. It's great. It's an old aircraft. Hey, the commentators will tell you all about it. Watch this. And will it take off? Oh, it just does it. It's coming down again. Watch carefully.
Not going to stall, is it? Still reach up and grab him.
If he gets over the hedge, then I'll be surprised.
That has to be the most thrilling thing I've seen here all day. Look at it go! That's fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. 3 horsepower. Flat twin motorcycle engine.
How on earth did that aircraft take off? That is incredible. You heard right. 3 horsepower. Incredible. Gonna say hi to Islander Jur. Send that Sprill. Do you guys have any interest in the Jersey International Air Display? Do you know, I've never been, but I would certainly love to go one day.
This just shows how low and slow the flight.
and gentlemen, all I've ever seen this aircraft do before a shuttle is hop down the runway, maybe get up to 5 or 10 feet in a little hop down the runway. And this is stuff to thrill your blood, it really is.
Hang on a minute, I need another
Ben was absolutely right in what he was saying, was that a lot of the aircraft that were built for these trials were pretty much impractical, it must be said, as flying machines, as light aircraft, tourers or train. But it started was important. The Hawker Signet. Look where that led.
Well, as you heard the commentator say, it's not very often that aircraft actually takes to the sky. It normally just bumps along, but as you can see, gaining quite a bit of height. I think I'd be absolutely terrified. What do you say? Especially when it took off. I was thinking, trees at the end? But it certainly managed to turn, and what an aircraft. Incredible. And we've still got one more item to come.
Or he might land on the steerman.
Thank you very much, John Bolland. Reminding everybody to hit the like and hey, share the video. Don't forget, tomorrow night, round about 7 or 8 o'clock, there'll be a premiere of the complete full version of this. So put your feet up tomorrow night. It's around about 1 hour 50 minutes. And after the premiere, it'll be in full 4K. Look at the crowd. Very impressed. And very impressed with this right now. Yes, it took to the skies. It's the box kite.
That as early as February 1911, he was able to report that 80 men were employed in his new factory. They were producing 2 machines a week, and that 40 aircraft had been built to date. Various configurations were explored, many of them, of course, drawing on existing aircraft designs of the day, like an unsuccessful attempt to use the Gabriel Voisin designed Société Zodiac machine, which proved to be an utter failure. The box kite was developed from Henri Farman's Farman 3. It proved to be one of the more viable designs of the period. Here we see
Again, look at the aircraft built for the film. Just see that wooden box around the engine there. Hidden in the box behind the pilot is a 100 horsepower Rolls-Royce 200B engine. An engine more commonly used in modern light aircraft. But of course, at the time of the filming, none of the original engines were available. before one of them came out with...
Sorry about that. What a wonderful sound. Absolutely fabulous. I hope you've got your speaker turned up for this.
New chief designer, George Ginger. The aircraft was taken to Glasgow on Salisbury Plain and went for its maiden flight in the on the 30th of July.
Don't forget, coming up on Friday night, it's the Friday night show. Don't you miss that. That's between 7 and 8 o'clock. But who knows, the bear could be there live anytime.
In order to detect the first glimmer of daylight between the grass and the wheels. I think we were all rather like that when the rain took off.
Oh, I was.
Just getting a little bit of a picture breakup, but don't forget, the full version of this will be available tomorrow night.
"72 of them were built at the plant at Filton in Bristol. 6 more by the Brislington Tramway Company.
Oh, Matt Cat Lady, where have you been all our for the last 1 hour, 10 minutes, or whatever it was? You've missed a classic. But don't worry, the premiere will be on tomorrow night, the full complete version. And if you'd like to get your last message in over on Facebook, hey, certainly do it now, because we've just got around about 1 minute left of the show. So get your last messages in right now, and if I see them, I'll certainly say hi. Saying hi to Georges. Also Amanda Jane Perry, Pierre, Raphael, Leslie White, and everybody else watching this right now on Facebook. And look at this, coming into land.
Or on Bristol aircraft. An aeroplane also crucial to the very earliest developments in British military aviation and of the application of flying machines for military purposes. And such a splendid sight in magnificent men, replica form, in the skies here at Aldbourne.
Daniel asks the question, am I going to Bournemouth in September? I really don't know. I haven't looked that far into September. I know I've got a few shows to do in September. I'll just have to look at the diary.
As they say, it ain't over till it's over. We weren't expecting earlier on today to be able to get any of the awards or the...
Very brave. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be up in that. Incredible. Brilliant, skillful flying tonight by all the pilots. And I really hope you've enjoyed the show with Stu Bear on Air Show World.
Thank you very much for staying with us.
Golf Uniform November is runway 20, left-hand circle.
Our Chief Engineer Jean-Michel Martin was the man at the helm of the box fight today, giving you another very, very good...
Hi, it's Stu Bear from Air Show World, and I'm very proud to announce our sponsor, the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. And for viewers of Air Show World, you can get 15% off from the world's best tea and coffee company. Plus, you'll be helping Air Show World grow. Just use the code AIRSHOW. That's the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. Hey, well, that just about wraps things up for this Tuesday evening, the 3rd of May, 2022. And, hey, look at that, it's 9:30. Gotta say thank you, and sorry, towards the end of the show, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a little bit of breakup, but hey, don't forget tomorrow night for the premiere. Also, got to say hi to Vitty McCoy, and they're watching over there in Puerto Rico. Phil TV, and also Space Ghost enjoying it. He'll be with us tomorrow night, he says. Hey, well, thank you so much, and have yourself a fantastic rest of your Tuesday evening. Don't forget to make sure you've got those notifications working, because the bear could be live anytime. But until next time, have yourself a fantastic time, and hey, we'll see you very, very soon. Thank you, and a very, very good night.